You were close. Today we're reviewing Stolen Kingdom by Bethany Atazadeh. Welcome back to the crypt. As with quite a few books recently, I've been having a really hard time moving through my physical books, so this is another Audible title. So if there are discrepancies between this and print form, I'm afraid I cannot tell them to you. That disclaimer being said, let's go ahead and get into the summary. Ari eagerly anticipates becoming queen of her humble kingdom. Even when a genie's gift manifests before her 18th birthday, she fights to hide the forbidden ability. But when a neighboring king attempts to manipulate her into marriage and steal her kingdom, discovery feels imminent. Just one slip could cost her her throne and her life. A genie hunter and his crew of thieves are the only thing that might help her remove this gift, and she must remove it before it's exposed, or die trying. The Stolen Kingdom is a loose Aladdin retelling, set in a world that humans share with mermaids, dragons, and an elusive genie. Let's get into characters. Ari is a very naive character. However, it actually works in this... Excuse me, I'm so sorry about that, dude. She's naive, but it works for this story because she is a royal and she hasn't been exposed to many things. And she's not naive about everything. She's just naive about things like how easy it is for people to steal from you and that kind of thing. I do find that the times she's naive feel really odd compared to how smart she is the rest of the time. I'll excuse it a little bit, especially for the sake of the story. Generally, it's pretty well done, but there are 2 points where it's a little frustrating, just to be warned. My biggest downside with Ari is that there's a lack of actual character progression for her. So she starts out the book not being able to trust anyone because her gift allows her to read minds. So she knows what people are truly thinking and how it usually doesn't line up with what they say. That really doesn't alter by the end of the book. She leaves the book still not trusting people, and unfortunately the way it ends is an irritant. I'll get to that later on. Caden is the male love interest. He's okay. Bluntness is nice, but his refusing to see reason concerning the genie is a little odd. And they kind of excuse it as, well, the prince guy who murdered his kid brother also has abilities, so like everyone with abilities are just suspicious people to him. I don't know. It's hard for me to explain, but his emotions towards that is so extreme compared to his emotions towards a lot of other things. It just seems like an odd swing. Gideon is the genie character, and he's one of the more interesting ones. I actually wish we had more time with him. I do believe the second book, because this is a series, of course it is, we'll be getting more into that. I'm not positive. In character, I wish we had more time with them because the way he kind of pulls off right now in this book is the like wise elder character, and there are only a few instances where he seems to have true free agency. Speaking of the genie, though, we should talk about the world. So magic system does make sense here. There are multiple magical creatures. One, the way the magic system with the genie works is there are genies and there are those who are descended from genie who also have genie-like abilities. And the idea is if you're a man, good for you so long as you don't like break the code. If you're a woman, automatic death essentially. But this is the same problem I had with Iron Widow, which you guys have probably heard me rant about that book so much on my channel. Iron Widow suffers from the problem of only one woke woman. That makes no sense. In the realm of history, every time women are oppressed, there are groups of women who are trying to fight for rights. This book really doesn't showcase multiple women rising up until the very, very end, and it comes kind of out of nowhere, and it just... I don't know, I wish there was more of a presence of women trying to fight for their own earlier in the book. Even if it was just mentioned that there were like uprisings or rumors of uprisings of women somewhere, that would make more sense. I really hate it in a book when there's only one woman who's trying to gain freedom for a group and nobody else seems to even notice. The reason it's a little better in this one versus Iron Widow is because in this one, Ari's main focus is not to gain freedom. she kind of doesn't even really consider it initially. It's only till the very end. She just knows that it's unfair and wishes it wasn't true that she didn't have freedom, but like, you know, she's not a freedom fighter initially. And that actually is a little better than Iron Widow, because Iron Widow is like, it gets on a soapbox a lot about women's rights, but yet there's only one woman who is aware and all of the other women are stupid, which kind of defeats the purpose of the book, because that's actually a very misogynistic view of women. It's a little better in that she's not necessarily a freedom fighter, so she's not getting on a soapbox every other paragraph. However, this book doesn't have any other women characters who are well-rounded. Also, in terms of other creatures, such as merfolk and whatnot, we do meet a merfolk near the very end of the book. We're talking like last 1/4 of the book. A mer comes up. And this character has pretty much zero point in purpose other than to be obnoxious. I recognize that I think the reason she exists is because she's setting up for the next book, book 2. I believe book 2 is from her perspective. I don't care. She's annoying and doesn't serve purpose in this book. And that's kind of one of my biggest problems with series these days. I mean, older books sometimes suffered with this, but it seems to be more common now. If you have to introduce another character to set up book 2, please make sure that character serves purpose in book 1. Otherwise, why are they here? As always, why is this character here? Structure of the book. Structure of the book is first person point of view, and it switches between Ari and Kaden. So this is not my favorite. My favorite is third person because it allows you to switch people a little bit easier without there being so much of a clunkiness to it. However, because there's a lot of inner thoughts and worries the characters have in real time, it kind of makes sense, and it does work somewhat for this particular story, especially considering that one of the characters can read minds. So it makes sense for this point of view to be used. My overall feelings is this was an okay book. Honestly, this probably could have gotten up to 4-star because it's decently solid, except for the ending. So the very ending of the book was very frustrating because our main lead does not actually grow. Like, she starts out distrustful of people and she ends distrustful of people, despite the fact that many of those people around her, especially Kaden, risked his life for her and for no other benefit. Like, this guy is a thief and he risked his life for her, getting nothing out of it really, and she still can't communicate with him at the end. At the very end, she's got numerous opportunities to tell him bluntly, like, hey, I want to be with you, I really like you, but I just became queen and I'm in a very tedious position where I can't be involved in someone. I'm worried someone will come after you and target you. Like, I just don't feel like this is the right time. I'm so sorry. But instead of communicating like a normal freaking human being, she intentionally doesn't, which causes a misunderstanding at the end and a huge rift between the two characters. I hate this so much. I hate it so much because she's at the exact same spot of distrust as she was at the beginning of the book. There's been zero character progress. She has become queen, so her physical state has changed, but her emotional state has not changed at all. This is really frustrating, and once again, this is just fodder for the book 2. This is just a way to keep things going for book 2. I actually have zero desire to read book 2, so I'm actually going to be just stopping the series where it is. I'm not going to continue on. But of course, that is a personal taste kind of thing. So, I don't know. Would you guys be irritated by something like that? Or would it just be like, that's expected of a series and you don't mind and you'll just read book 2? It is a short read, so there's that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great week. I know my camera is getting the foggies because rainy season in Japan. I just turned the dehumidifier on. Sorry if it's loud. But we do have voting open for the Mel event. Mel event is going to be August 7th through the 13th. But exact times, we've got 2 different blocks. I need you guys to vote. I'll link the video up above. Please go to that video and vote in the comments below. So thank you guys so much for watching, and see you later.